All right, shalom, shalom to the true nation of Israel. Cheers, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. First off, I want to start by saying Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Wahal Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who taught me this truth. All right, I'd like to say shalom to the men stiffly pushing this one truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the 1/3 remnant. All right, this is your brother Rakaga Bar, and I'm back at you again with another lesson. All right, as you can see, entitled The Chemistry of Spiritual Powers. All right, the ability to manipulate the elements. Okay, and this is, one of those things that, that obviously a lot of people find very intriguing. Okay, very interesting. All right, when you start talking about spiritual powers. Okay, because when you read through the scriptures, all right, all the different miracles and wonders, all right, that were performed by Yahweh Shah, okay, that were performed by the mighty men, okay, and all the different figures that we read about, okay, they had spiritual powers. Okay, when you understand it, all right, they had spiritual powers. Okay, now when you go into spiritual powers, all right, essentially what it is, all right, is the manipulation of the elements. Okay, it's manipulating the elements. All right, being able to walk on water. Okay, being able to turn water into wine. Right, being able to do all these otherworldly things. All right, requires you to be able to manipulate the different elements around you. Okay, being able to multiply food. Okay, being able to take flight. All right, being able to teleport. Okay, when you read about the angel, right, who pretty much teleported, I believe it was Habakkuk, all right, when you read in Bella and the Dragon, okay, in the Apocrypha, all right, he teleported Habakkuk, all right, to Daniel, who was all the way in Babylon, just to give him some food, okay, and then he teleported him back, all right, so to be able to teleport, all right, you read about the angel, all right, who killed 185,000 Assyrians at one time, okay. To be able to do those types of otherworldly things, you have to have power over the elements, okay? Because when you understand it, all right, elements make up everything that we see today, okay? Elements make up everything we see today, all right? Elements go into the making of compounds, all right? Which compounds, all right, create matter, okay? And matter is everything that you can visibly see, all right? And what you able to look out, all right? You look out in front of you, okay, your hands, right? Your cell phone, okay, the screen that you're looking at, all right? You see, the different trees and life forms, okay? Literally everything that you are able to visibly see, all right, is made up of matter, okay? Which is made up of elements, all right? And, even our bodies, okay? When you go back into the beginning during creation, all right, the Elohim, how they were able to make the heavens and the earth, okay, the sun, the stars, the moon, okay, all the different manner of creatures, okay, mankind, right? Scripture tells us, that we come from the earth, okay, we're earthy, right? So the elements that compose our bodies are elements that are found in the earth, okay? So to be able to create life, all right, you have to be able to manipulate the elements, okay? Combine different elements to make, new matter, okay? So on and so forth. All right. So we're doing in this lesson. OK, we're going to go into the chemistry. All right. Of spiritual powers. OK, now this guy that you see depicted in front of you. OK, which, I didn't know who this was at first. OK, but I was doing some meditation and research. OK, and I came across this guy. All right. And his name is Metamorpho. OK, Metamorpho. All right. Now, when you go into the word metamorphosis, okay, that goes into changing into a new form, okay, or changing into a different form, all right. But with this guy, okay, he has the ability, all right, pretty much to turn his body into any different type of shape or form, okay, using the elements, that are on the periodic table, okay. So he's able to manipulate the elements, all right, within his body, okay, and he's able to turn into shape-shifting, changed into completely different forms. All right. And I actually have a video that I'm going to play. All right. Showing you, some of the abilities. All right. That he has. OK, being able to do that, being able to manipulate the elements all right, in his own body, okay? And not just his body, okay, but you know, the elements that are on the periodic table, okay? But he's limited in the fact that, all right, he can't necessarily, you know, manipulate the elements around him, okay? So say turn a tree, okay, into a lake, all right, or turn a you know, a piece of paper into a mountain, okay? He can't do that, but he can do that within his own body, okay? So let me play this real quick video real quick, all right, and then we'll hop into the lesson. Lord's willing, it's edifying, all right?
May stop. I don't want to hear it.
Relax, I've got him. Come along quietly, or I'll...
Hey, stop! You're killing him!
What's happening to me?
Let him go!
He's more powerful than I ever imagined.
Huh?
Stay back, all of you!
Enough! That's not gonna hold him for long.
All right, man. So you see that, okay? With this guy's ability, all right, being able to manipulate the elements in his body, okay, he was able to outmaneuver all of the Justice League's attacks, okay? You seen Superman come out like he was going to be the one to put a stop to him, okay? And then what did the guy do? Metamorpho, okay? Krypton, being an element on the periodic table, all right, he just turned his hand into Kryptonian, okay? And we all know that that's Superman's weakness, okay? So with that ability, all right, he is able to maneuver all of the Justice League's attacks, okay? You've seen him use fire, right? Water, okay? Acid, right? And he was also able to manipulate, all right, the elements and the atoms in his body, okay, to change his stature, right? You've seen him grow tall, okay, and turn his body into a slinky, okay? He's able to do pretty much a limitless amount of things, all right? And the fact of the matter is, like I said, okay, he's only able, you know, to manipulate his body, okay, with the various elements, all right? Imagine having the ability, all right, to manipulate the matter, all right, and the creation and elements around you, okay? Because the reason we're going into this lesson, all right, is because this is a type of power, all right, that we're about to receive, okay? This is the type of power we're about to receive. When you read the scriptures, all right, it tells you, all right, that we that believe on Yahweh Shah shall do greater works than he did, okay? And when you read about all the different works Yahweh Shah did, okay, you come to find out that scriptures say there's not enough books written on this earth to describe everything that he did, okay? Raising people from the dead, okay? Healing, you know, healing the sick, all right? Giving a sight to the blind, all right? Having clairvoyance, being able to see things before they come to pass, right? When he told Peter that he was going to deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed, okay, yeah, because he was able to see into the future, all right, being able to project his voice, okay, being able to do just limitless types of things, all right, things that are just completely otherworldly and that you can't imagine, all right. But when you go into the periodic table of elements, all right, there are hundreds of elements on there, okay, and these are the elements that we know, okay, as far as Esau, these different scientists, okay, because when you go into that word science, it goes into to know, okay, so these are the different elements that they know of, all right. There are a lot of elements that can't even interact with other elements because they're so radioactive, okay. So this is the knowledge, all right, and the power, okay, that we're coming into, okay, and that we're actually going to be able to have, all right. So jumping right into this lesson, all right, entitled The Chemistry of Spiritual Powers, all right, the ability to manipulate the elements, all right. Let's go ahead and grab the word for chemistry, okay. You go into that word chemistry, all right, it says it's the branch of science that deals with the identification of the substances of which matter is composed, okay. We all know that matter is composed of what? Elements, all right. And in elements, all right, you get atoms, okay. Atoms come together, right? That's why on the periodic table, okay, the different elements have a different number of atoms, all right. That's what gives them their atomic number, okay. And those elements come together to form different types of matter, okay. It says the branch of science that deals with the identification of the substances of which matter is composed, the investigation of their properties and the ways in which they interact, combine, and change, in the use of these processes to form new substances, okay. So essentially what this is saying, all right, it's a study of how atoms and elements, all right, interact with each other, okay, how they're able to be manipulated, all right, to combine with other elements, all right, or how if you lose, you take away one element, okay, you can add it to another, all right, and when you do those types of things, all right, you form new substances, okay, and that's what we've seen in this video, okay. This guy is able, all right, to manipulate his entire body into pretty much anything that is on the element, the periodic table of elements, okay, and you've seen the whole Justice League, all right, couldn't even deal with him, okay, couldn't deal with him, all right. So how much more so when you able to do this, okay, but on an even grander level, okay, on a grander level, because this guy's not, he's not he's not all powerful, okay, he's not, he has weaknesses, all right, and limitations, all right, but we're not going to have those limitations, okay. He's able to fly, okay. You're able to do these things when you're able to manipulate the elements, okay, because this is what everything falls back on, okay. And actually we're going to go ahead and jump into the scripture, all right. We're going to go ahead and jump into the scripture, all right, because even the elements, okay, are talked about in the scriptures, all right. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17, okay. Now we know, all right, well, I'm gonna start at verse 16, okay, but we know, all right, that King Solomon was the wisest and wealthiest man on the earth, okay, being Yahweh Shine and reincarnation, okay. King Solomon was the wisest man, all right. You read about in, First Kings, Second Kings, all right, how all the heathen nations around will come to King Solomon just to hear his wisdom, okay. And it tells you how he knew of he knew about a lot of different things, okay. And we're going to read about, all right, one of these things here, okay. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 16. It says, for in his hand are both we and our words, the Most High, all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship, all right. So when you come to find out, all right, the Most High Yahweh, all right, he worketh all in all, okay. He's the orchestrator, okay, and the life force, the source, okay, of all things, okay. Without, Yahweh, right, giving that blueprint to his son Yahweh Shah and Elohim to create everything, all right, nothing would be in existence, okay. There are things that we don't even know about that exist, okay. Like I was saying earlier, okay, you have what they call a visible light spectrum, okay. That's things that you're able to see, all right, with your physical human eyes, okay. That's visible light, all right. So everything you can look out and see is visible light, okay, and what they will refer to as light matter, okay. It's light matter because you can actually see it, all right? But they also have what you call dark matter, okay? Which these scientists and stuff, they don't really know too much about dark matter, okay? Because why? It's the spiritual realm, okay? Dark matter dealing with the fourth dimension, okay? They don't really know too much about that, okay? And that's stuff that we can't see, all right? The Elohim, the powers, okay? All the different things that are in the heavens of heavens, okay? There are things we just don't know about, okay? But the Most High is the one who created all that, all right? Through his son, Yahweh Shah the Elohim, all right? But it says, verse 17, for he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, okay? So Solomon, when you understand it, all right, the Most High blessed him with exceeding wisdom, all right? And this is what we have now, okay? This is what we're fighting for, okay? And this is ultimately what we're trying to grow in, okay? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, okay? Because this truth, it opens you up, all right? And it unlocks your spiritual eye, okay? On a completely different level, okay? That's why Yahweh Shah told, I believe it was the Pharisees or Sadducees, all right, that I am from above, you are from below, okay? Yahweh Shah, and you know, the elect, okay, because we're coming in that same vibration, all right? We're thinking about heavenly things, okay? We're thinking about the, you know, spiritual things, all right? And we're enlightened on a level that this world just can't achieve, all right? But it says, for he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, okay? Now, how was the world made, okay? You read in Genesis, okay, 1, 2, right? You read in the book of Genesis, all right, how everything was formed by the Elohim in 6,000 human years, six days, all right, from a godly perspective, but 6,000 years from a human perspective, okay? Now, this goes into everything, all right? The constellations, the planets, you know, that are constantly still expanding, all right? Life down here on Earth, okay? The seas, the mountains, all the different creatures, okay? Everything that we can't even fully comprehend, okay? All the precious stones, the precious metals, okay? All the resource that we're able to access, okay? All of that was created, okay? And creating that required what? The operation of the elements, okay? Because in everything, there are elements, all right? There are elements, okay? Also, okay? This is Wisdom 19, and I'm gonna start up at the top, okay? We're gonna start at verse 13, okay? Because yeah, spiritual powers is you understand it is all over the scriptures, okay? When they come out, how do you think they were able to create, okay, you know, the Justice League, all right? This guy named Metamorpho, okay? All these different, you know, guys with these different abilities, okay? Green Lantern, able to turn their will, right? The different things that they can imagine into reality, right? How do you think those things are possible? They got that stuff from the scriptures, okay? We're the, you know, the X-Men, all right? The nation of Israel, okay, starting with the men, all right, are the X-Men, okay? We are the X-Men, all right? And once we get upgraded to these new bodies, all right, best believe, okay, we're going to have power over creation, okay? Power over the elements, all right? All these things, okay? Even our women, all right? Our women, okay, you're going to have spiritual powers as well, okay? Everything's going to be within order, all right? Everything's going to be perfect, but we're all going to have spiritual powers, okay? Do you think that when we go, you know, inhabit, all right, these other planets, okay, because Earth, you know, we're going to constantly be expanding, okay? We're going to be immortals that live forever, right? So we're going to constantly be expanding, all right, constantly having children, okay? We're going to be the ones to inhabit these other planets. Why do you think the Most High has it to where these devils can't even get out of the firmament, okay? Because it's not for them, okay? It's not their blessing, okay? But it's ours, all right? So when we go out in outer space, okay, on those chariots, all right, or without the chariots, we're not going to have, you know, some type of special apparatus, okay? We're not going to have a space suit, okay? Our bodies, all right, that are going to, you know, radiate light, energy, okay? They're going to be the bodies that we're not going to need anything else, okay? Our bodies are going to be the power source, okay? And just like how these bodies are made of certain elements from the earth, okay, when you go into 1 Corinthians 15, all right, we're going to receive heavenly bodies, okay, celestial bodies, all right. So our bodies are going to be composed completely different than they are now, okay, completely different, okay. You go into our bodies now, all right, there are different things that go into the makeup of our bodies, okay. Oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, right? These are all elements, okay? These are all elements that we can find out in the world around us, okay? Potassium, sulfur, sodium, okay, chlorine, all right? And then you start getting into when these elements combine with other elements, okay, and they form a completely new substance, all right? Like sodium, okay? Chlorine, all right? They can combine together, all right, and you get what? Table salt, okay? All these different elements are able to form bonds with each other and give new substances, okay? So how much more so when the Israelites, the sons of God, okay, come into the full knowledge, all right, come into the full knowledge, okay, of all these different elements, okay? We see what, Esau is able to achieve, right? They make the atomic bombs, all right? There are radioactive elements in the making of these different bombs and nuclear weapons, okay, that allow those to be made, okay? So what type of power level do you think we're actually about to be on, okay? It's going to be on an otherworldly level, all right? Completely otherworldly, all right? But yeah, there are so many elements that go up into the makeup of these earthly bodies, okay? So the bodies we're going to get are going to be composed of different, different elements, okay? To different degrees, all right? So that's what's going to make, being able to withstand fire, okay, withstand, the radiation from the sun, okay, being able to not be bound by the constraints of gravity, okay, not all those things, all right, because we're going to be immortal, as scripture tells you, we're going to be made immortal, okay, and immortals can't die, okay. So if you can't die, that means that the elements, okay, don't affect you, okay, or the elements cannot harm you, all right. This is what we're fighting for, okay? But going back to Wisdom of Solomon 19, okay? Because we all know when Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, all right? We read about it. Lot's wife turned back, okay? And she was turned into a pillar of salt, okay? Which will happen. The elements that made up her body were turned into the elements that make up salt, okay? That's all it was, okay? The manipulation of the elements, all right? This is spiritual power, okay? But we read about, all right, when, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, all right, by way of fire. Okay, but let's go ahead and grab this, all right? Check this out, all right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 19, starting from 13. It says, and punishments came upon the sinners, not without former signs, by the force of thunders. For they suffered justly according to their own wickedness, insomuch as they used a more hard and hateful behavior towards strangers. It says, for the Sodomites did not receive those whom they knew not when they came, but these brought friends into bondage that had well deserved of them. All right, so when the angels, right, pretty much transformed, into a human body, okay, they changed their appearance, all right, and they were coming to tell, Lot and them to get out, all right, because the Most High was about to destroy the city, okay. You have the Sodomites, all right, who, today, these wicked, the LGBTQ plus alphabet people, all right, they were trying to ultimately lay with the angels, okay, and commit wickedness, all right. But nonetheless, it says, but these brought friends into bondage that had well deserved of them. And not only so, but peradventure, some respect shall be had of those because they use strangers not friendly. Okay, yeah, they were trying to disrespect the angels, okay? So what happened, right? It says, but these very grievously afflicted them, whom they had received with feastings, and were already made partakers of the same laws with him. Therefore, even with blindness were these stricken, okay? So the angels smote them with blindness, okay? Because they were trying to get into Lot's house, okay? So the angels smote them with blindness, okay? Manipulating the elements, all right, in their eyes, okay, by whatever means, all right, by means of, manipulation of the elements, all right, and turn them blind. It says, as those were at the doors of the righteous man, when being compassed about with horrible great darkness, everyone sought the passage of his own doors. Okay, so yeah, they were blinded and they couldn't even really find their way home. Here's the point though. It says, for the elements were changed in themselves by a kind of harmony. All right. Like as in a psaltery notes change the name of the tune and yet are always sound, which may well be perceived by the sight of the things that have been done. Okay. So the elements, right? The elements which make up everything, okay, were changed in themselves by a kind of harmony. All right. So when you go into that word harmony, okay, it's very similar. You're going to come to find out to the word chemistry. Okay. It's very similar to the word chemistry. All right. Harmony. All right. It says the combination of simultaneously sounded musical notes to produce chords and chord progressions having a pleasing effect. Okay. Now, obviously, you know, this is the musical definition. All right. But nonetheless, all right, it's a combination of simultaneously sounded musical notes to produce chords. Okay. So harmonizing. Okay. Being able to have things flow together well. All right. And when you go into chemistry, what is it? Okay. It deals with the identification of the substances of which matter is composed. All right. The investigation of their properties and the ways in which they interact, combine, and change. Okay. So when you go into the periodic table, all right. When you go into the periodic table, okay. Let me see here. Slock it. When you go into the periodic table, okay, the elements harmonize together. That's how they're able to form new substances. Okay. They have to work well together. Okay. Now this is a quote by this guy named Michio Kaku. All right. Check this out. Okay. It says the laws of physics carefully constructed after thousands of years of experimentation are nothing but the laws of harmony one can write down for strings and membranes. The laws of chemistry are the melodies that one can play on these strings. The universe is a symphony of strings, and the mind of God, which Einstein wrote eloquently about, is cosmic music resonating throughout hyperspace. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, all right, the laws of chemistry, all right, is essentially the same as harmony. Okay, so when you have music that sounds good together, okay, you turn on a song, all right, those different musical notes come and they harmonize together, which is why it sounds pleasing to the ear. Okay, so for elements to be able to manipulate the elements, okay, and put chlorine together with sodium, okay, you get table salt. Okay, the elements, right, the different atoms in each element, okay, they bond together. Okay, and those elements can form together, they harmonize, and you get salt. Okay, so when we go back to the scripture, right, it says, for the elements were changed in themselves by a kind of harmony. Okay, so they were eloquently manipulated. All right, they were eloquently manipulated. Okay, like as in a psaltery notes change the name of the tune. Okay, and you see how it kind of likened it or resembled it, okay, to harmony in music. Okay, because essentially it's the same essence. All right, essentially it's the same thing. Okay, but it says I'm gonna read it again. It says the laws of physics carefully constructed after thousands of years of experimentation, right? And that's another thing. Okay, these scientists, these devils, all right, Esau, all right, they've had to do thousands of years of experimentation on the elements, okay, to begin to understand how they work, how they operate, which ones are radioactive, which ones are safe, which ones are not safe. Okay, but we're going to literally step into this knowledge and wisdom of these elements, okay, and everything else, all right, fully when Yahweh Shah gets here. Okay, so how much more so? All right, like I said earlier, okay, there's things, elements that we don't even know about. Okay, especially when you deal with outer space, okay, the heavens. All right, there's just things that we don't even know about yet. Okay, but it says are nothing but the laws of harmony one can write down for strings and membranes. The laws of chemistry are the melodies that one can play on these strings. Okay, it says the universe is a symphony of strings. All right, and that's pretty much what the point. Okay, that's pretty much the point. You have all these elements that are flowing around us. Okay, they're just flowing around us. Okay, we're made of elements. everything else around us is made of elements. Even the air, right? Oxygen, okay? Water is made of elements, okay? Two elements combined, hydrogen plus oxygen gives you water, okay? So this is how everything was formed, okay? And this is how we're going to be able to have spiritual powers, okay? It's going to be able to manipulate these elements, okay? In a way of harmonizing, okay? Which, you know, once the Most High unlocks us, okay, and upgrades us on that level, we're going to understand how to do that. Okay. We're not going to have to be, you know, actual chemists like Esau. Okay. You got a beaker of this much, you pour it into a beaker of this much and you get this substance. No. Okay. When the Elohim were creating things, okay, they were doing that off their will. Okay. Off their mind. All right. That's the type of power that we're going to have. Okay. You go into the Justice League or Salaki, when you go into Green Lantern, they're able to turn their imagination into reality. Okay. That's creation. Okay, that's creation. All right, but nonetheless, touching again on that harmony, okay, of these elements. All right, I wrote, it says ultimately when atoms harmonize together they form elements, right, which can then harmonize with other elements to form compounds. Okay, which compounds are two or more elements combined, and that's what you get, where you get matter. All right, that's where you get matter. Okay, hence when two people interact well with one another, oftentimes it is said that they have good chemistry. Okay, oftentimes when people interact well with each other, they have good chemistry, right? So we see how you know, the elements being likened to harmonizing. Okay, they're also, okay, the same essentially as chemistry. Okay, they're pretty much one and the same. All right. All right, and that's what we read about through the scripture. Okay, that's the point. Okay, how these elements that are everywhere flowing around us, okay, just endless, vast. Okay, these are the elements we're going to be able to manipulate. Okay, so you have to really begin to try to use your imagination. Okay, to you know, try to comprehend the level of power we're going to have. Okay, you know, which we can't fully comprehend it until that day. Okay, but nonetheless, all right, this is what we're going to be able to do. Okay. All right, now this is it's called, you know, Fandom. Okay, but this website, all right, if you brothers and sisters may know about, okay, it pretty much goes into superpowers. Okay, spiritual powers. All right, the different types, the different applications, everything. Okay, this site literally covers all that. Okay, so when we go into chemistry manipulation, which, you know, we found out essentially chemistry, all right, is understanding how, you know, atoms, elements interact, combine, change to make new atoms and stuff, or so like new elements, right? Chemistry manipulation, okay, is just essentially manipulating the elements. All right, that's what it is. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the different applications that one would be able to have with this ability. All right. All right. So it says the power to manipulate chemistry. All right. Sub power of science manipulation. Okay. Like I said, you can, you know, go on this site, start clicking around. All right. And this will really give you, get you in the mind of, you know, the spiritual powers. All right. And what's coming. Okay. This guy, Dr. Manhattan can manipulate science. Okay. He can create things. He can destroy things. He can alter his, you know, his size. Okay. He can, you know, become, he can phase through walls and stuff. Okay. Which is also something Yahweh Shah was able to do. Okay. So this is where you get in the realm of just the endless potential that we're going to have coming soon. Okay. Coming real soon. All right. But it says capabilities. Users can manipulate chemistry, a discipline in science that is involved with elements and compounds composed of atoms, molecules, and ions. All right. Their composition, structure, properties, behavior, and the changes they undergo during a reaction with other substances. Okay. It says, hence the user can also manipulate things that chemistry is overarching, like chemical substances, which can create new elemental or chemical, toxic, combustible, or explosive substances. Users can also manipulate the reactions of the chemical substances as a result. Okay, so this is when you understand why being able to, you know, you see Dragon Ball Z, You know, with their different dragon bombs or whatever they're called, spirit bombs. Okay, you see Naruto with the Rasengan. Okay, Chidori, which is, you know, lightning. Ultimately, all of that stuff, okay, is made of atoms. Okay, made of elements. All right, that's the type of power we're going to be able to control. Okay, so like I was saying, there are different elements that are radioactive. Okay, that's when you just, man, this is going to be crazy. All right, this is the power that we're about to get. All right. This is the power we're about to get, okay? But applications, okay? So these are all the ways wherein one who could manipulate the elements, essentially, okay? Chemistry manipulation will be able to do all these types of things, okay? You know, and it's limitless, okay? Limitless, all right? Just, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them, okay? But, all right, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll click on a couple of them. Okay, periodic table powers, okay? That's why where I got this guy Metamorpho from, okay? It says can freely manipulate the periodic elements, okay? And then when you come to find out, being able to do that, you can't do anything, okay? You can literally damn near do anything, okay? Now, we know, okay, scripture tells you in Zechariah 12:8, all right, how he that is feeble among them in that day, amongst the Israelites, will be made as David, okay, who has spiritual powers, all right? In the house of David, all right, shall be as the Most High, okay, as Yahweh shall before, as the angel of Yahweh before them, okay? So we're going to be like Yahweh shall, the angels, okay, the powers, all right? So if they're able to manipulate the elements, okay, create life, destroy life, just all those things, okay, what do you think we're going to be able to do? Okay, we're coming into that same power, all right? Now, yeah, it's going to be within order, okay? Our entire nation will have spiritual powers because we're all going to have new bodies, okay? But these things are going to be within order, okay? All right. Capabilities. It says the users can create, shape, and manipulate the elements of the periodic table, okay? And we saw that in that video, okay? And he just used what? Probably like 7 different elements he, you know, was changing into and stuff, okay? You seen steel, right, or metal, whatever metal that was when he made the little sword or whatever. Okay, then he made the hammer, the mallet, okay, so on and so forth, okay? The applications become limitless, all right? We're going to have full access of our brains, okay? Full 100% usage, okay? When you watch that movie Lucy, okay, what happened when she was able to fully reach 100% of her brain power? Okay, essentially she became a god, okay? Now, yeah, obviously, right? You know, but essentially she became a god, okay? This is what it means to be a son of the Most High, okay? This is what it means, okay? But it says users can create, shape, and manipulate the elements of the periodic table, pure chemical substances consisting of a single type of atom distinguished by its atomic number, which is a number of protons in its atomic nucleus, and are divided into metals, metalloids, and non-metals, okay? So yeah, on the periodic table, you have metals, non-metals, and what did it say, metalloids, okay, which are, you know, the different types of elements out there, okay? So gold is obviously an element, okay? Silver is an element, right? All these things are elements, okay? Get into applications such as biological transmutation, elemental transmutation, okay? And I you know, I really advise you, brothers and sisters, to check this site out, okay? It's really a faith booster, okay? Because we're going to be able to do these types of things, okay? The power to transmute living organisms to various degrees, okay? What does it say? Through the implementation, it says able to freely alternate sentient creatures through the implementation of indirect DNA editing by splicing alternate atomic building blocks into the core structure of their physical and physiological being at will. Okay, so that's when you see Sandman, right? Being able to, you know, turn his body into sand. Okay, turn whatever, you know, turn that into anything, any type of matter. Okay, turn it into a axe or a hammer or a sword or you know, bow and arrow. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, you know, but yeah, I advise you to check this site out. Okay, because I mean, it's going to be limitless potential. All right, this is the power that we're coming into, though. All right, all right. Yeah, so that's pretty much the point. All right. That is the point, okay? So I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Wahara Kakadash, all right? And I want to say, keep fighting, all right? Got to fight for that body, okay? Because it's coming, okay? This body, as Scripture tells you, these heavenly tabernacles are already made for us, okay? So we're about to enter into a completely new realm of possibilities, okay? A completely new realm of possibilities, all right? When we are in these chains of darkness now, okay, we're vastly limited, okay? We just can't do nothing, okay? You know, Scripture also tells you how in the time of our visitation, we're going to run to and fro like sparks among the stubble, okay? What's a spark among a stubble? Okay, that would be Flash, okay? Or Quicksilver in X-Men, okay? That's that record-breaking Mach 6, right? That type of speed, we're going to be able to do that, okay? We're going to be able to take flight, okay? We're going to be able to dematerialize, rematerialize, all right? We're going to be able to phase through this type of matter. That's why, okay, when you understand it, the animals and creatures are going to come back to being under our subjection, all right? Nothing's going to be able to come up against us, okay? You think in the kingdom a bear is going to, be aggressive and mad and try to eat you? Yeah, that'll be completely impossible, okay? Scripture tells you how the animals are going to go back to being herbivores, okay? That's how our babies, our children, are going to come out being able to play with snakes and lions, as Scripture tells you, okay? Because even the 2/3 who are reborn are going to come out with those new bodies, all right? But this is what we're fighting for, okay? So I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to say shalom.